So,
No, this is not coming out. Correct.
yeah, 1, 2, 3. Can we start? We are already live. Hi,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Today I am discussing with Mr. Kapil. He is from Delhi. He is the director of Brainiacs Edutech Private Limited, who is helping people to go abroad for the further studies. So those who are watching your live will get to know various insights because he is very much and he is having a very good niche as well for creating the this digital library. It is a very interesting thing. So, Mr. Kapil, just let me know, just explain to the viewers about how you are creating this, because this also excites me to know more about digital library.
See, actually, this is my niche of study abroad, right?
Yeah,
If I talk about the basic things, I would say that I'm helping students get admissions abroad. And because there's a huge difference between demand and supply in our country, and students are fully aware of the hardships they face when they have to, go for higher studies, for college admissions, etc. Right now, because we are working in the online medium, and I've been like even earlier, I was teaching also online, and but I've been into consulting for the past 10 years, and I've been doing online. So now this was something happening because whenever students used to approach me, I used to find a lot of lack of awareness, right? So I thought this would be the best idea, like to, go online, explain things. That's why I started podcasting also on different topics of study abroad. And if students want, they can always listen to that because it gives actual insights, what study abroad is all about, or how the life will be if they go abroad, or what you can say preparation should be considered. So, and digital library is a great medium because anybody can access anywhere. So that
yeah,
is the best part. Even without me reaching out to them, they can actually reach out to me. So that is
true.
the best part. So that's how I got this idea.
Right. So there is some questions which is coming up, popping up in my brain because very great insight you have given. How
Mhm.
can studying abroad enhance your academic and professional growth?
See, uh, whenever let's say we talk about that students are going abroad, or even let's not talk about going abroad first, let's talk about getting going for higher education in the country itself, right? Now what happens is that obviously we are in a very localized environment, very familiar environment, so we are more you can say paying attention to just the studies part, right? All
Right.
the other things remain the same. But when a student goes abroad, he's actually get introduced to new academic systems, new methods of teaching, right? So that is altogether a new system. Now, I would say that as soon as a child steps on the foreign soil, I would say the life changes, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it's not about the education only, but the whole culture, the whole environment changes for him. And that is obviously very different to what he experiences at home. But yes, that is, I would say that is a change for good. Why? Because in India, though as the education system is improving, now it is slowly moving towards the practical thing, right? Professional approach. But still, there's a long way to go. Whereas the foreign universities, or we can say good global universities, they are already following that pattern from a very long time. So that for let's take an example in India, if anybody wants to go for computer science, right? So we will say, okay, he's doing engineering in computer science. Nowadays, some new fields have cropped up that data science hai, then we have AI and ML, etc. But let's talk about Germany. They have 40 different fields. Just so there's no as field as such computer science, but there are 40 specialized fields. So that gives a totally different exposure to the child. Then, of course, uh, the language improves because even if the child is not going to any other country, let's say Netherlands or Ireland, or Ireland is even, let's say they speak English, but let's say Germany or France, they are speaking French and German, so a new language gets added. But even if an Indian student goes to an English speaking country, you will believe that the way Indians speak English and the way they speak, that's entirely different, right? So that is also a new learning for the, and with the help of language, a student is able to, get the grasp of that culture also. So he gets to learn diverse cultures, and of course, he becomes independent because he is managing himself, right? So I think that is altogether all-round development, not just we can say development in this field of studies. It's personality development as well.
Yes, exactly. A great insight, which booms up one question since you spoke about artificial intelligence. As we know, India has this artificial intelligence came in 2021. But before this, China and so-called USA and every countries, they were Japan, they were aware about artificial intelligence. So this artificial intelligence, when we are talking about, I was working with one company in Delhi. Okay, that company is an IT company. Though the owner, he was only 26 years, so he gone to this from US. He learned artificial intelligence and machine learning because if they are learning in abroad and once they're implementing in India getting more advanced. People are now Indian mentality is like the procrastination mentality. Even I'm also being an Indian, I too have this procrastination that my jobs, because I'm oriented with my business is into giving opportunities to the people. Then the then the thing comes, hey, what will be the next for the HR? That if the artificial intelligence comes, then what will be the importance of the people? So there was a turmoil, right? And the people were thinking that artificial intelligence will eat their job as well. So, what is your uh, saying in this? Because since you are sending candidates abroad for their studies, okay, and once they're returning back, or else if they're starting their business over there, then it is called that is India is getting brain drain. So, what is your thought process in this? Yeah.
See, I will never say treat it as a brain drain because we are not sending educated individuals abroad. We are sending our students for education abroad, right? Now, let's say if a person goes for engineering or does masters also there, and then he still wants to come back. So if we take that decision now, so it's like 5 years from now, right? And in that 5 years, even our country will prosper, will progress. Maybe when he's returning, he's getting more, you can say, better opportunities at home itself. But right now, let's say, see, try and understand the industry develops faster than the educational institutions, right? The educational institutions don't have that kind of infrastructure that the industry is able to develop. So if Indian industries are developing, by the time the educational institutions will catch up, there will be a long gap. So in any case, it's better to bridge that gap, the students move abroad, get educated, and of course, if they want to come back, there will be ample opportunities here also. But if they want to, stay there, you cannot stop anybody.
Absolutely, you are.
Right, see, it's not the, let's say, it's not always the fault of the student also who wants to go abroad. We start talking about that morality of brain drain, but we are not able to provide them sufficient institutions for getting educated. Is it his fault?
Yes, with you. So true.
Right.
Yeah. Now another question, Mrs. Kami, that what role does cultural immersion play in study abroad and why it is important?
See, when we talk about that Indian culture, let's say, first, let's begin with that. As I said earlier, that the moment a student steps on, on the foreign soil, his life changes. And yes, cultural immersion is an essential aspect because a student is not in the university all the time. He has to interact with locals there. In fact, I would say if that is a global university, he will be meeting students from all over the world, right? It's not like only if, let's say, if he goes to France, only the French students will be there. There will be Indians, there will be like other Europeans from other parts, right? So obviously, there is a cultural shock also in the very beginning because it's the life is very much different from what we experience at home. But then I will say that every student who goes there, first of all, he has to respect that culture, right? Because obviously, if he has to interact with the locals there, he has to, have empathy towards them. He cannot always be on the judgmental mode. Yeah, my culture is better and theirs is not. Because there is nothing as such right or wrong, right? It is their culture. They are happy with it. And if we are going there, obviously we have to adapt to it. Only then it will not only make our life easier, but we will be more, we'll get actually deeper understanding of those people, right? And that will actually help us in adapting to that lifestyle. And it will give us a more, you can say, global perspective, right? And then, of course, once again, the language skills will always help. And it is that will actually help the cross-cultural communication skills also, isn't it? And obviously, then we can also say that student can get a better world view and he can do away with many biases he might have had when he was at home. Let's say when we read in the books that many people abroad, or let's say the developed countries, they say India is a land of snake charmers. But is that true? It's not. So those Indian students can always act as brand ambassadors of our country also. And on the other hand, they can adapt and gain knowledge about the other culture. So that will be a great understanding, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, that's true. Because I'm with you in this. Definitely, the people should have a broader mindset in this case. So, if they are just thinking, no, this is my culture. If we are doing competition, the world is not for competition. The what exactly I have understood is that you have to be own competitor. What exactly Abu Mentor also speaks that be your own competitor. Don't compare even the culture, anything in the work culture also. Be you, learn what your mistakes and what you are doing.
Right,
So
right. Very true.
right.
And in
So
fact, I'm
yeah,
happy you asked this question because, you know, uh,
yeah,
Indian students do face such a problem. Now,
yes,
let's take the case of Germany. Now,
right,
in India, we don't expect an Indian student, college going student, to drink alcohol, right?
right.
But in Germany, they serve beer like water in the university itself. But that doesn't mean that they are alcoholic, right? So that is a big cultural change. But then
Hmm,
we should know how to conduct ourselves. And
right,
when people go there in that environment, they actually learn also. So
right,
it's in a way, it's a learning.
right. Another concept which generally comes in the Indian mentality is like that you are not getting are you getting an opportunity in Cambridge or Oxford, then only just move. Otherwise, if you are getting in somewhere else in abroad, it like, for example, I personally know one person okay, he got an opportunity for, since in India, he was completely giving his joint entrance. In medical, he was not getting an opportunity. Then his parents sent him to abroad in Russia for education, and he is now a good doctor. Once he came back in India, he is not getting any opportunity in India to show his skills. Since that time, what exactly happened? That why didn't you try in India instead of why you have gone? If you have gone to, if you have been there in USA, then you should have an opportunity to get you can get a better opportunity in India. So in this case, the comparison again is coming, right? So for this type of parents and for this type of, because we are living in a society, right? People are always comparing. See, my son is going to USA, my son got an opportunity in German, and see, your son is still there in India. What they are learning. The concepts are like this. And otherwise, they used to say, yes, in India, they are growing. In St. Xavier's College, they are growing rather than going abroad. So what is your standpoint on this, Mr.
See, people will always say something, right? Ultimately, it's our life, first thing. If we keep on listening to others, then we can never be on the right track. Now, obviously, in different countries, the scenario is different. Now, if you talk about medical education is far different in India, in US, UK, or in other parts of Europe or Asia, let's say. So India has also maintained very high levels of medical education. So it is very difficult for anybody to go abroad and come back to do practice in India, right? So that is why we have an FMG exam. Now it has been scrapped and now it is known as next NEET from this year onwards. But obviously, to practice in India, a person needs to have those norms that are needed here. Now, but obviously that research has to be done before leaving the country. Now, if the person goes to Russia for medical education, he should have researched beforehand what will be the repercussions after completing the medical degree. Will he be able to, So as a counselor, when we suggest something, right? So it is not like that somebody coming to us and say, okay, I want to do medicine, right? So usually the first question is why? Right? Are you capable enough? Obviously, that needs to be looked into because let's say if he is not able to clear NEET in our country and he has a very, very bad result here. So obviously there always comes a doubt that if he is capable enough or not. Because obviously if he goes somewhere else, it is not necessary that he will be able to cope up with that kind of education. But then even after that, let's assume that he is actually capable or eligible to go abroad. We still have to make sure that can he come back and practice? He should have full information beforehand so that he does not get those shocks afterwards and he can actually plan out his career in future also that okay, let's say if he's going to Russia, should he continue there only, or if he's ready to appear for that exam after coming, then he has that choice, right? So he's able to you can say manage his career accordingly. So I will say that before taking this plunge, a person must, do proper research. And actually, this is what about my L1 course, which is I am planning for these students because I do feel that there is so much ignorance. So in my I'll be actually educating what to expect in study abroad so that all queries are answered beforehand.
That is really very the powerful word you have already given. Yes, definitely. This is the thought process of the people. Now, yeah, and now the question comes in what ways does studying abroad contribute to personal development and self-discovery?
Okay. See, this is like the same thing, because when we say that a person goes abroad, obviously he's not going along with his parents, right? Be it male or female, they have to conduct themselves. So that coziness of homes doesn't exist anymore. So they have to like manage not only their studies, but also manage their life there, right? And then, as we talked about cultural immersion, he cannot be alone. He cannot be a loner, right? He gets to know a new culture. He gets to have the understanding, and he's able to like immerse with them, right? He when he goes there, he's able to compare the two cultures, and of course, when he gets that first-hand information there, he becomes more knowledgeable. He gets a better understanding. Then we can say he gets exposed to like you know different ways of thinking. So he gets a broader horizon, you can say, and obviously. Not all days can be the same. Life has ups and downs. So he's and obviously parents cannot jump to him or go to him at every requirement. So he learns that adaptability, managing himself. He is able to build new relationships there, and I would say he becomes a global citizen altogether, and that adds to definitely his personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah. Some other questions comes, that is, what impact does studying abroad have on our language skills and cultural competency? Competency. Here, this question comes because I just give me this answer. Then another question generally comes about the vernacular. Those people who are here in other states where the vernacular languages they are the procrastination comes. I'm not good in English. So in this case, whether I be able to select for the higher studies.
See, now English is just like any other language, right? For us Indians, we can say we have multiple languages, right? Maybe I am from a Hindi belt, so I would say my mother tongue is Hindi. But then India has so many languages. For many of us, Hindi is not their primary language, right? But in school, they are being taught English, right? But for every Indian, I would say English is a foreign language, right? Now, going abroad to a non-English speaking nation, of course, does not require English. Then you need to know that language where you are going, right? Now, let's assume that though you are going to a non-English speaking nation, but you are going for an English taught program. That is also possible. Now, if you are going for an English taught program, that's where the IELTS and the TOEFL comes in. Because until and unless you clear that exam, you belong to any part of the country, you cannot go. So first of all, you have to prove your proficiency in the English language. So if a student has already proven that, so that self-doubt should disappear. But yes, let's say even if he's able to, clear the English exam and going for an English taught program, obviously in that university, he will not be speaking in his local language. All the time, he has to speak in that language also. So let's say when we say practice makes a man perfect. So if he's speaking all the time in that language, that is bound to improve, right? So, and when language improves, it adds up to the personality of the person, right? So any amount of degrees will not work if you are not proficient in the language, right? So that is one part of this. Then if a person becomes multilingual, he's able to interact with the people there. Now, even as Indians, let's say if some foreigner comes to us and speaks in our language, don't we feel good? We have that good feeling. So that is the same for them also. That if we go abroad and we are speaking in their language, so there's an instant connect. So you build relations very easily. And of course, that helps in real life also, going to the grocery store or moving in public transport. So knowledge of the local language will always help, right? So that impacts and that actually helps you there, right?
Exactly, true. Yeah, to the point. And the thing is, seriously, because the way they respect our language, whenever we are going to any malls and shops, when we see the foreigner is trying to converse in our language, we feel yes connected. We can there to help them out. But
Yes.
if we are also going there, this language is not a barrier. The emotions are a major thing because you can connect with anyone through your emotions. Explain in your emotionally, definitely the person will be there to help you, which is what I personally believe in.
See, I will say that I've been very fortunate that whosoever, like my students have gone abroad, and
Yeah,
whenever they have tried to interact with the locals in any part of the world,
yeah,
they have been received in a very, very warm way. And people have gone out of their way to actually help them. So I will say people are the same everywhere, right? So first of all, you have to take the first step. So if you are good, because see, when we go abroad, those people are actually hesitant to receive us. But when we are positive, then they also receive us with open hands.
absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And this is the human nature.
Yeah.
Even I'm not talking about the human. This is also the animal's nature. Because if we are accepting the as much as we are letting our hands open, people will come. Yeah, that is
Yes.
the yes, they will grab the opportunity definitely for this. And
But
now,
people are all the same everywhere, I
yeah,
will say.
everywhere because emotions are same, but
Yes.
the thinking process may be differ and the
Yes.
body structure may be differ. But
Yes. Yes.
yeah, but these problems are same. Even if when I have took 10 the snow, I have took recently four women. Okay, from they are working for the woman entrepreneur from different countries. One from Africa, one from USA, and they have spoke about the same thing. That is the same emotions of same woman story, but the events happens in a different way. The places may be different, but the situations are same, but
Yeah, very
happening in a
true.
different. Yeah.
Very true.
So yes, so that is the this is really something to take care of. That is, we are human beings. We are there to accept if you are open to accept it. Means
Right.
receiving it, not yeah.
Right. Right.
How
Right.
you are receiving. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Fully agree. Fully agree with you.
Yeah. So now, what are the some ways studying abroad can broaden your worldview and perspective? Because some students who will be here, they will be watching because they are applying for abroad. Okay, so this question comes from them only. What are the some ways studying abroad can broaden our worldview and perspective?
See, this is kind of related to my earlier answers only, right? Because see, when we getting a worldview means exposure to new culture, right? Whosoever in whichever country we go, we get to know them. We are able to understand the cultural differences, then interact with different people from different backgrounds. So it's kind of a, you can say, a nuanced understanding, right? And we are able to get that empathy towards them, I will say, right? Then our cross culture communications develop, right? It's not always, let's say, uh, apart from the language, the way we conduct ourselves also helps in communication, right? So many a times, two people belonging to different cultures and speaking different languages, but still they are able to connect with each other, right? So that kind of skill also develops. Then, of course, we say a total education system is different, it is more practical based. So a person gets hands-on experience, that there are different kinds of workshops there, which are slowly developed. But India is still, I would say, in a novice stage, or the best universities like the IITs are doing it. But we know not everyone can go to an IIT, or some few, let's say, private universities are into this now, and they are trying to develop themselves as international universities. But still, there's a long way to go. So it's easier to get that exposure. And then additionally, even if an Indian student goes to those private universities in India, he will still not get that global exposure because he's in this local environment. And financially also, he'll be more or less paying the same fee in India or abroad. So on any given day, I'll say as of now, it's better to go abroad to have an all-round experience.
With you on this, definitely it is right. And the question, since the thing is people are also searching their jobs, so this question comes: how can studying abroad help anyone to stand out to competition job market? Because this is very important question.
Okay. See, obviously, I mean, just recently I was listening. It was in the news that India has become the most populous country in the world, right? So,
Yes, yes.
as Indians, we are never short of competition, right? But yes, we still lack jobs. Then it is not about only the jobs. There is a gap between what we learn in schools or colleges and what the industry requires. So there's a huge gap. So many a times, let's say we are graduates, but when we go to the job market, the skills required are totally different. So even if a student is well educated, he is unable to get a job, even if the job exists, right? So that gap gets almost reduced abroad, because even during the education period, he's able to, get some internships he has to do. That sometimes it becomes mandatory in different courses. So he gets that hands-on industrial experience. Their syllabuses are very much updated as to what the companies in their country require. So even if a student is not able to get a job back home, right, he can still get a job very easily there. And maybe when the situation improves, because let's say if we are talking about those aspiring students, as I said earlier, who want to go now, so they'll be looking for jobs like after 5 years from now, 6 years from now. So at that time, even the situations in our country will be different. But then if we are talking about MNCs, global people, then maybe even if he gets a job there, and that company might have a branch in India, and then he might be able to come back as an employed person only. He doesn't need to come back and then search for job here. So anything can happen. But right now, I don't want to go into that he needs to come back only. For a student, his primary aim is to get a job, to get himself employed, be it in any part of the world. Because let's say a student is studying in India only, but if he doesn't get a job here, won't he take up a job if he gets it abroad? Won't he go there? Then you cannot say it is brain drain. Ultimately, he has to, it is his survival need.
Absolutely, you are correct in that case. Yeah, definitely. Getting an opportunity is a blessing. So wherever you are getting an opportunity, you should work on that. So yes, now the question comes: what are the some challenges you may face when studying abroad, and how can they be overcome? And how can studying abroad expand your global network and increase your career opportunity?
Okay. See, these study abroad challenges are like main thing, apart from the students, even the parents worry. Like I said, the biggest challenge is the cultural shock, right? That they are basically, you know, let's say in India, we have a boys' hostel, girls' hostel. You won't find that abroad. It's common, right? In public life, usually the public utilities are common, right? For example, if I say a swimming pool, the males and females share a common pool, right? So, and so such things do happen. Then, apart from that, in the initial stages, there can be homesickness because you might not find a person very close to you, right? And I'm actually thankful for to you for this question because seeing these initial challenges gave me the idea of building that community that I was talking to you about a couple of days back. That if students can come together, the parents, because Indians are everywhere in the world, right? And anybody, if a person wants to have that helping hand, that can go a long way in actually helping that student sustain. And whosoever has gone abroad in the past has faced that challenge. So they actually understand what is the kind of problem that a student might face. So these things do. Then financial constraints at home, everything is being, taken care of by the parents. Now, there they'll have an account, a fixed amount will come in their hand, but they have to manage the whole month in that only. And if a person is not able to do it properly, then obviously financial stress will be there. So obviously a lot of challenges do, happen. But embracing these challenges, overcoming these challenges, like as a counselor, my take was to build such a community where we can support such students. But on the other hand, those students should also be open to getting support, right? They should, instead of getting shocked, they should try to, embrace that experience. They should try to understand what the local culture is about, right? They should not be like sitting at home there, but instead move out, talk to people, make friends. And many a times you will find students from your home country also. But even if you don't find students from your home country, the same challenge is being, faced by a student from any other nation. So you can always make friends, right? So that will actually help you much, much better. And then, like I told about the financial constraints, of course, a person becomes wiser because now he has to man, he knows कि भाई, if I don't do it, then who will? And I cannot ask, many a times in India, parents are not in a position to, financially help the child all the years. They might usually, what happens in the case that they are able to, give the finances for 1 year. But after that, the child has to sustain himself because many countries in the world, and especially in Europe, they allow students to work while studying. And that is common in India also. Like many students do take tuitions, etc., while being in college and they finance themselves. So that is not something new. So people can do there, but that is altogether a learning experience. And that actually changes the perspective, the personality, everything of the child. And I believe that that makes the child very, very positive.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, the conversation has gone to a certain level. It has gone to a certain interest in that challenges is everywhere. Even if you're doing home studies, yeah, one question comes now, everything is online, right? Everything we can get it from online. So why to move to abroad? The question may comes like this, right? Now, so we are getting everything from here, from online basis. Online space has taken this space. So what is your opinion in this, Mr. Kapeel?
See, when we were answering all these questions, right, we were not concentrating only on the academic part, right? We were talking about personality development. We were talking about cultural immersions. Can a student get it from studying at home? No. You can get the
Absolutely.
academics, right?
Yeah.
Many things you can, let's say, you can learn many things from YouTube, from social media. But that face-to-face interaction, knowing a culture directly as being part of that culture is altogether a different experience.
Absolutely with you.
So that's why online cannot ever, be equivalent to that. But yes, see, let's say a person is a working professional. He does not have time to, go to regular college now because he's working. Now, in that space, he might go for online education to upskill himself, right? But for all things, for everything, you cannot go to online. Yes, online is a great medium, and we have been using it, right? Today, we are able to interact with our that because of online, right? Like before the internet, if the student used to go abroad, he was really disconnected from the family, right? But now, thanks to social media, thanks to this internet, WhatsApp, a person is very easily all the time connected to his family. So chances of homesickness gets reduced to a certain extent. Then, uh, like we can say, social media can be, or such technologies can be used in a number of different ways to help you out. But yes, knowing that culture, learning the language, immersing in that culture, being independent, able to manage yourself financially, traveling the world, because right, you get to travel that country, and travel itself is a huge educator, right? What you can't study in school, you get to know when you travel places. So that's my take on that. So online can never match that. It is like an addition to that, supplementing the offline medium, but not existing altogether.
Yeah, interesting. Here, one thing, most importantly, which comes from the mentors again, that is have low information diet. And another thing is practical knowledge is much better than the theoretical knowledge, which I
Yes.
personally feel. Whatever I have learned in the theoretical part, that is while doing my MBA in HR and operations, this is not, I can't implement this in my practical world. When I was implementing both the things together, when it is becoming a khichdi. Because practical world is completely different, whereas theoretical world is completely different. So if you are experiencing that particular, for example, in my case, if I go in sanitary, understand how how their work culture is and how the constitution works over there, rather than sitting in India doing watching so many YouTube channels, will absorb my means I can't absorb the right information. I will absorb all messy because I can't segregate. If you are seeing, there is a saying by Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, whatever you think, you just go and watch it, because he has an experience that go and watch it. If you watch, then you can learn first, because in Chicago also he spoke about this, that go and watch. If you're not watching, you can't learn it and you cannot absorb it. So first practical experiences watch and then do it, because learn to teach whatever our mentor six talks about makes sense in that case. So
See, we
definitely,
can also say that one cannot learn swimming by sitting outside the pool. You have
yeah,
to go inside, right? Any
yes,
number of books will not teach you swimming.
right,
You, you have to get
true,
inside.
right, exactly. So like this way also the mindset has to be broader enough. Yeah, going abroad, studying, and then if you want to settle down, that's up to your call. And if you want to come back and implement the same to India and to make the India advance, because if you love the country, definitely go abroad and learn and then bring here, implement here. Because that is what I personally, with one of the company, the owner is only 26 years. He learned automation from there and coming in the India, teaching all us. Means he connected individually through LinkedIn, potential people, and then he wants to give me an opportunity as a director of his organization because he saw my work. So do like this, bring together whoever the potential you feel like, bring it and give them the ideas. Abroad is important to learn. Definitely go for it.
See, let's
So
say
it's
if
about,
somebody learns a new technology, right? Now,
yeah.
what do you say about, let's say, we have some prodigy in our country and he can do great work, but
Right.
let's say we don't have the right infrastructure in our country. Should he now go to a country where that infrastructure
Exactly.
exists,
That's true. Yeah.
right? Then
Yeah.
not everybody can be a trainer, not everybody can be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Some would go abroad, get that knowledge, and come back and coach here or use it in the industry, be
Right.
entrepreneurs. But then not everybody can do this. So
Right.
many would get absorbed there and only,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Here.
let's say if some Indian goes to some foreign university, gets a scholarship, right?
Mm,
Studies for free.
right.
So by that mentality or morality, don't you think he will have some, you can say that country also has a right on that child?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Because once we are learning, see here, don't get overwhelmed. That is my point. Is don't get overwhelmed.
No.
This because if we are taking too much of information, we are getting overwhelmed. It's better go there, understand the perspective, the culture, what exactly they are working culture. If you feel like that working chair culture, for example, in Middle East, they all are very technical. The working culture is much better, and in US also the much better. So just take the best from there, implement this in India because
Yeah, definitely.
India. Huh, okay, since I am talking about India because I am an Indian, I'm proud to be an Indian. I love my India. So if I have an opportunity to go abroad, definitely I will learn all the cultures, the best thing because you have a brain, you can segregate which is good for you, which is bad for you. Yes, and if you want that, then the mentor, Mr. Kapil, is there to help you out as a best mentor. So learn from him how much to take because if you discuss with your mentor every day, it will be helpful for you to. He will channelize your mind in that way because he knows he has that experiences. So, Mr. Kapil, those who want to go in abroad can wants to connect with you. Okay, just in the chat section, help you with your email ID and your contact number, so that it can come to the screen. And later on, I will be just taking the screenshot of it and I'll put it in the description box as well,
Yeah, I'll
so
surely
that
do
you can.
that. And in fact, I'll share you because I am holding a webinar on 30th of
Yeah.
April, right?
Hmm.
Regarding this only, so that
Okay.
if they want, they can join in that webinar and get first insights. And obviously, I'll be there to answer all their queries.
Absolutely. Just share your number and your email ID so that they can directly connect with you and they can
Okay.
have their queries because the queries, two questions I have means from the group only they have given and from there only I've just asked you.
Yeah,
So
sure.
please just share your email ID and your contact number in the chat session. It will reflect here and later I will be taking the snapshot
Okay.
and I'm just putting in the description box. So those who are watching, if just whatever the learnings you have got it from Mr. Kapil because the great insight he has given from past 1 hour he was giving a lot of insights. I'm also learning a new things from him. Yeah, so you can
Thank you.
connect with him like this. He has already given this. So just a second, I'm just taking it from the chat session once again. Yeah. Yes. So it will be reflecting. He has already reflected, and likewise, I will be putting this in the with this description box. Connect with him, understand your questions, because I have only compiled from there. I have 10 questions I received, and
Okay.
of which only two means few questions answered because of the time constraint. And those really, which is a powerful questions, I have just asked you that. And the
Okay.
rest, if they are directly coming to you, asking you, it will be a great honor for
Yeah.
me and from Mr. Kapil's end, you can get the answers directly.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
Sure.
yes. So I'm glad to have you. I'm blessed as well as I'm really feeling honored to have you on this show.
In fact, the
And
same feeling is here. And
so,
I'll be there. I'll definitely be there to help them out if they want to connect or they need any help from me. I'll be surely
yes.
helping them.
Yeah. One more important thing, those who feel like that, yes, I am having some self-doubt, some plus if you have any self-doubt about yourself, or you have some disabilities, that whether I can restrict yourself for this for higher studies, please connect with Mr. Kapil. He has already helped one of the student of he is my I was helped him to get an opportunity. He is still with me, Mr. Chaitanya. He already helped Chaitanya about the same. So if you have the step of any sorts of disabilities or any sorts of mental disabilities, physical disabilities, whatever the thing is, or procrastinations, please connect with him, because studying abroad is not a difficult thing, at least only for 6 to 1 year. I know many people are like homesick. In my case, I know in my brother went to where my brother was, we are from Kolkata, actually, West Bengal.
Okay.
So when my brother got an opportunity in engineering in Pune University, for last, it was a degree course for 4 years. 2 years he was there at home only. He's so much homesick, and I also have my mother and me were not leaving him. This also happens, right? That bonding, because we can't stay without him. So this things, if you have this like my brother who is homesick, please connect, and I think he can guide you the best, because he's the best guide in that. So definitely people will connect with you, Mr. Kapil. And please,
Okay.
on 30th of April, right? You are
Yeah.
conducting
30th
the,
of April, 11 a.m. I'll share the link with you also regarding.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So those who are there interested, please connect and take at 11 a.m. 30th of April he is going to conduct. Please be there. Understand any
Or they
his
can
question.
say, let's say if anybody is listening, this is my website name that I am sharing here.
Yeah,
So
please.
they can go to the contact section of that website, and there is a link for registering for the webinar. So they can do that.
Yeah, I'll just mention this also in the chat. Just a second. I'm going to give it in the. Everything will be there in the description box.
Yeah.
Check the description box, everything will be there. So yeah, you people can connect and you people can learn. You can go ahead with him for abroad. So thank you very much for giving me such a time, and for the people who are watching, for them.
So
So
the pleasure is all
definitely
mine.
so definitely this is a starting, and definitely I will again call you for other, because every day we have to upgrade, right?
Yes.
So every day is an upgrading. So definitely some new concepts will come. Definitely I will have need your help for this, to convince the people for this. Definitely I will
See, we are
call you
lifelong
again.
learners and we are
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
lifelong learners.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's the major key. That is, we are helping those who are 100% committed towards their life,
Yes.
and yeah, and wants to grow and upgrade in such a situations. So thank you very much. We'll again meet in other social media, and we will definitely again have this one-to-one interaction for YouTube channels, because
Sure.
in YouTube many people are interested to go abroad, study
Yes.
abroad. So definitely we will do it. Okay. Thank you
Definitely.
very much, Mr. Kapil,
Yeah.
for
Thank
your
you.
time. And yeah, and I'm really feeling honored, yeah, to have you. Thank you.